This little guy right here, this is Rocket, being a goofball, sitting like a duck. And he is the reason we're doing this project, because this little fella, although calm sometimes, he's a youngster, he's only 2, and he will just burst out of his litter box. So we are going to build something that helps keep that litter scattered down, right buddy? So here's what we're trying to build. It's a simple plywood box with a cat cut out for Rocket to go through, and a drawer to be able to pull out so you can change the litter. And in that drawer is a little cutout here with a piece of acrylic that allow you to see through and see what Rocket's doing. So I'll show you here how the drawer pulls out. So real simple, just pull that out here. Be able to access the litter box, change what you need to change. And then the top also comes off, which allows you to clean up if you have any litter scatter in the box, so that you can clean that up real nice, access that, vacuum it out, whatever you need to do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go out in the garage and I'm going to cut my 4 foot by 2 foot pieces of plywood to size to build the sides, the top, the bottom, and the drawer front here. And so let's get started. I've already cut the plywood off camera. It was mostly just cutting the sheets in half since they were already close to the dimensions we needed. And so right now I'm cutting rabbets in the top to accept the top of the actual box so it sits in a nice little groove. So what I'm doing here is just running the piece over the table saw, tapping the fence over to basically create a channel. Here I'm cleaning up each rabbet with a chisel and 120 grit sandpaper. So next I will cut out the cat face, and first I will have to drill a hole for the jigsaw. Well, I was smart for a second. I remembered when you're drilling plywood that a lot of times there's some blowout on the backside. So what I did here was just put a sacrificial board underneath. You can see that right there, so that hopefully that'll catch the blowout before the back just kind of, for lack of a better term, explodes. So now I'm going to cut out the window so we can see Rocket, and you'll see here that I've drilled a hole in each corner of the cutout so that I can stick my jigsaw blade in, run a straight line, and take it out easily. So now I'm taking a piece of clear acrylic and hot gluing it to the back of the window. Alright, so now I'm going to mark out all my pocket holes on the bottom. So what's going to happen is the sides are going to join up with the bottom, which I'll show in the assembly step, and we're going to pocket hole screw them on the bottom into the sides. It'll make more sense after I do this, but I'm going to put 5 pocket holes on each side for a total of 20 pocket holes, and obviously I will glue each side when the time comes as well. Alright, so that's what it should look like. Now we've got 5 pocket holes on each side, and those will be ready to be used to screw into the sides and the front and the back. Alright, so camera died the other day, but what I did was I sanded all the inside surfaces so it'd be easier to finish later, and we assembled a few of the panels here. So what I ended up doing was, you can see all our pocket holes and on either side. And what I ended up doing was I just kind of attached the back first, or actually attached the side first mistakenly. That's why we have pocket holes here. That was a mistake. But I attached one of the sides first, then I attached the back, and then I attached the side. What I did was I just put a little dab of glue right along the seam here, and then pocket hole screwed it together. So I've lined up the drawer slides where I want them, marked where the screw locations are, and now I'm pre-drilling the holes for the screws. So unfortunately, as expected, we had a little bit of a jam with two soft close drawer slides. It was really hard to match them up. In fact, it was nearly impossible. Too much interference, required a little bit too much measurement accuracy. So we're gonna go with one. And I put it on and it works. It's soft close, pretty nice, but it is pretty floppy, a little wobbly. That's why I originally went for two. So we're just gonna do one, and what I'm going to do here is put these little runners on. I kind of just made them just slightly less than the height of this drawer slide. I kind of just actually put that up against the table saw blade in between the fence, and then tapped it a little bit, and we'll cut these out. So actually, this is just a solid piece of, this was like a 1x6 piece of pine that I had salvaged from a different project. It's actually, I actually stained the side, so that's why that's brown. But I cut two of those pieces, and now I'm just gonna glue and nail them down to the bottom here. And I had to go and buy nails, 1 inch or 3/4 inch nails to do this. So I'm gonna do this now, and then hopefully that drawer will be a little bit more supported. Here I've screwed the bottom of the drawer to the drawer slide, and I've aligned the face of the drawer with the face of the box. And I've also glued together 2 strips of plywood, pocket hole screwed that to the base, nailed it to the front, and we'll screw that to further secure it. Next step here is to put this little divider in. So what I ended up doing was, my wife wanted a larger divider, so I ended up taking a piece of scrap that I had lying around from the sheet of plywood that I broke down for this, and cut a high wall. And the point of that was to force a rocket to come in his little cat hole and around, rather than if it was only, say, this tall, have him jump over into the litter box and jump out. The point is to force him to go around here, scatter the litter this way, and have him have to walk around on the litter mat so that he loses the litter off his paws. So she was right. She was right. She was right. Got the wall in pretty good, nice and sturdy, very, very sturdy. 3 pocket holes, 1, 2, 3 on the bottom, 1, 2, 3 on the side. Glued it up and screwed it in, and just took 1 clamp here to here. Now I'm backing up the dust on the inside for a Danish oil finish. And also what I'm going to do now is, I noticed when I close the drawer with the top on, it tends to stick because the top is 100% perfect. So it's getting caught on this edge here. So I'm going to route a channel in here so that it doesn't interfere with the door. Now I'm backing up the dust on the inside for a Danish oil finish. And here's a shot to show the top now fits. Alright, so off camera, I took some of this Gorilla Mat material, which comes actually just as a mat you can use for any litter box, and I cut it down to fit the insides here. So that's this material here, this green checkered material, and what this does is just kind of traps all the litter. And we bought a large mat on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description. It's a great mat. It worked really well with just a litter box, but so I figured, why don't I just cut it down and glue it in? So I just used some construction adhesive, cut these to size and glued them in here. And if you look at the drawer here, it's not underneath the drawer, just because I didn't run out of material, but I wanted a little bit extra of the mat to actually put on the outside. I'll put here, so when he stepped out, he still steps on a more mat. All right, pretty much all the hard work is done. Now it's just time for the boring work. Time to sand. Now I'm sanding the outside of the box with 120, 180, and 220 grit sandpaper to prepare for a Danish oil finish. And this is a wipe-on finish. It's a varnish stain combination, and I'll put a link in the description for this product. And here's a snapshot of the finished product. So you can see the finish turned out really nice. We wood burned Rocket's name over the cat hole, and you can see that we've got it below our utility sink in our laundry room. So I'll demonstrate how this works. I've put a 3D printed hook on the top that allows it to stay locked when Rocket's using it and unlock it when you need to pull the drawer out. It slides really nicely, and as you can see in the back here, a lot of litter has been trapped in the back end, even on his tunnel on the way out. I definitely think this is a worthwhile project. It works really great, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video.